Kong could most definitely beat Godzilla in the fight. Now listen, I already know all the toxic G fans have already clicked on this. And no, if you're a normal Godzilla fan, welcome, I'm not talking about you. But boy, am I gonna rustle some feathers with this video. A disclaimer before we get started, I do think that Godzilla beats Kong more times than not. But the whole point of this video is to show you that Kong could most definitely beat Godzilla. Starting off with the first thing that a lot of people don't even realize, Godzilla's already gotten beaten by a Kong before. And this Kong, in my opinion, is far weaker than the Kong that we have now. And yes, it's the rival. For the people who've known a long time about the rival, it's the rival. This Kong beat Godzilla with no weapons, just bare hands. Not only did he beat him with no weapons, he made Godzilla retreat. Godzilla never retreats from a fight. Matter of fact, he fought King Ghidorah head on, something that is way out of his league. But he ran from a Kong? He ran from a Kong? And if I'm correct, I believe he fought King Ghidorah before he fought this Kong, the rival. And this rival made him retreat his own lair. Out of every single Titan that's ever made Godzilla run, it's surprising that it's a Kong. Which could have meant a couple of things. It meant that maybe he just beat him so bad that he had to run away, which, you know, he's gotten beat to nearly to death before and hasn't run away from those fights. Or he actually was going to die in this encounter. Godzilla never runs away unless he is in critical health. Hell, I mean, even when he was fighting King Ghidorah, he was in critical health and he didn't run away. But when the humans did the oxygen destroyer on him, Mans ran away and he was in critical health. But why would I bring up the rival if we're talking about Kong? Kong fought a stronger Godzilla under worse circumstances. Had to get a drink from all the glazing I'm doing. Round one, a lot of people look past most of Kong's feats because they either don't like him or they didn't realize how strong that feat really is. For example, Kong knocking the G-Man out with a headbutt is one of the most insane feats that I've ever seen from any Titan. And a lot of people are like, oh, that doesn't seem like that big of a feat, right? Godzilla has never gotten knocked out by another Titan to the point where he is like releasing his, grip on a Titan and just falling backwards. And that was like a head-on-head collision, which in a weird way makes it seem like Kong's head is more durable than Godzilla's, especially if he's the one who hit him and it didn't do any damage to his head, but it made Godzilla let go of Kong. And like I always bring up, that was a sedated Kong that did something like that, so maybe his headbutts are just ridiculous. When Godzilla was dragging Kong down underwater, they had to release depth charges so Godzilla wouldn't kill Kong. But what's weird about that is a tired, sedated, drowning Kong wasn't nearly as affected as Godzilla was from those depth charges, considering Godzilla let Kong swim all the way back up to the boat after those depth charges. And Kong is dense. He's like made out of nothing but pure muscle and solid bone. Him even swimming in the first place is a crazy ass thing to happen. And if we're being honest, almost any other Titan would have gotten destroyed by Godzilla underwater like that, like ripped apart. Matter of fact, King Ghidorah was ripped apart underwater by Godzilla. And Kong, sedated, held Godzilla back. And I know you guys are gonna say, well, King Ghidorah doesn't have arms. He doesn't have arms. Brother, King Ghidorah has two long ass necks that basically act as arms. Not only do they act as arms, they shoot fucking lightning from their fucking mouths. Kong doesn't have that. Unless you're gonna sit here and tell me that Kong's arms are stronger than Ghidorah's heads, then at that point, you're telling me that Kong is physically stronger than Ghidorah in some aspects, which I know a lot of people would not want to admit that. And I'm not saying that that's the truth, but that's what you sound like when you're saying King Ghidorah doesn't have arms, so he can't really defend himself. But like, you act like Kong is an amphibian or some shit like that, like he's like a fucking fish or something. He's not meant to be in the water. So isn't King Ghidorah. Kong did significantly better underwater than King Ghidorah did, and he was sedated. Anyway, next. Godzilla vs. Kong round 2. Kong could receive a lot of damage from Godzilla without being one-tapped, basically showing that he is relative to Godzilla, even showing as much as being able to overwhelm Godzilla when he's up close, making Godzilla resort to having to spam his atomic breath to get Kong off of him. So not only that, he had to get Kong off of him and he had to tire Kong out because Kong was putting them fucking paws on him. Not to mention Kong with that axe is deadly. If Kong really knew how to use it, I feel like the fight could have gone differently, especially if he had experience against Godzilla. Like, has anyone else ever really noticed how much Godzilla uses his atomic breath against Kong compared to other titans in the monsterverse? The Mutos, although he was weaker, he was not using his atomic breath against the Mutos as much. He used it against King Ghidorah, but he mostly wanted to grapple King Ghidorah, wanted to get up close and like grab his head and just boom, you know? But with Kong, it's almost like he's trying to avoid a fight up close, at least in GVK. Just wait, at least in GVK. So what did he do? He used his atomic breath. And by using that, it tired Kong out enough for him to be able to get close and then do some real damage. Kong knocked Godzilla the fuck out, which is the second time that he's knocked Godzilla out in the same movie, which means Kong has a consistent record for knocking Godzilla the fuck out every single time they meet. Granted, Godzilla does a lot more damage considering he is the one who ends up killing Kong or nearly killing him, whichever way you want to see it. Kong still does really good against Godzilla. Also, that big blast that sent Kong flying back and sent Godzilla falling over while he was knocked out somehow did a lot more damage to Godzilla than it did to Kong. It both exploded right in their face. And Kong was unscathed by it. Godzilla was knocked out. And I know everyone's gonna say, well, Godzilla's the one who got hit in the head with the axe, which that makes a lot of sense. And I don't even know if Godzilla even really got hit or the explosion just happened right in front of his face. Either way, I see what you're saying. But in that case, you're comparing Godzilla's durability to Kong's durability. Kong's durability shouldn't be anywhere near Godzilla's durability. So for Godzilla to be knocked out by that blast, and for Kong to be practically unscathed by that blast, shows that he ain't just some pussy, bro. Kong has them hands. But I digress. You guys see what I'm saying there. Round 3, Kong's biggest mistake. Letting Godzilla wake up. See, this is where Godzilla takes the edge in durability and experience. Godzilla's durability allowed him to take all of that damage that Kong was giving him. And his experience shows that you kill whoever the hell you're fighting, especially in a battle like that. He crawled the building instead of finishing the job, however that may have been, which gave Godzilla enough time to go into crocodile mode and then attack the hell out of my boy. See, Godzilla has fought many Kongs before this, so fighting Kong again is like a walk in the park, at least knowing what he's gonna do. This is Kong's first time, so I understand why he made that mistake. Hell, maybe he thought Godzilla was dead, maybe he didn't know that Godzilla has crazy ass durability. But either way, when Godzilla got back up, they got the fighting and Kong got his ass handed to him. But I will have to say, out of every single Kong Godzilla's ever fought, it seems like he's had the most trouble with this one. Or the rival, I guess, because the rival did make him run away, but still. Godzilla won round 3, fair and square. Godzilla just killed Kong, basically. Now, Godzilla and Kong versus Mecha Godzilla. This shows how dangerous Kong could be with a supercharged axe. He chopped through Mecha Godzilla like butter. Now imagine if he did this except for 2 Godzilla. And if Kong played his cards right in the beginning, well, he really couldn't have because he never fought a Godzilla before, but if he did, it could have went like that. I mean, how do you think they made the axes in the first place? Kindly asking Godzillas to hand over their dorsal fins? No. Now we're gonna move over to one of my favorite MonsterVerse movies, GXK, The New Empire. So we're gonna have to talk about that Egypt fight where Kong is stated to be holding back against Godzilla. This is a supercharged Godzilla going bloodlusted, angry as hell, trying to kill Kong while Kong is holding back. Keep that in mind. Kong knocks Godzilla over with one punch of the Beast Glove and then takes his ass to town. Godzilla's been killing all these other titans beforehand, and now he's fighting Kong and getting his ass decimated. Now, I do want to go over the comments that say, well, Kong was using the Beast Glove, which makes him extremely strong and it makes him yada yada yada. Yes and no. The Beast Glove just makes adrenaline run through his body. So yes, it makes him stronger, but it's not because they're giving him a steroid or it's, you know, super powering his punches up. It's the fact that it's making his adrenaline on 10 24/7 whenever he's fighting other titans, which is enough to really hurt something. But then again, if I punch anyone with a metal fucking glove on, it's gonna hurt. Now, if I had adrenaline and I'm punching someone with a metal glove, yeah, it's gonna hurt even more. But the reason why I don't really put, oh, it has metal on his hand into the, you know, equation here is because it's Godzilla. His durability is crazy. Man was near the KT extinction. Man was hit by nukes, so a metal glove should not make that big of a difference. At this point, it's just Kong with his raw ass power, which is basically what it is, Kong's raw power. I mean, Godzilla still got the better of him at the end of that fight, which makes me wish they would have showed Kong if he was really trying to hurt Godzilla, but at the same time, it would destroy the entire plot of the movie. What I'm saying here is we haven't seen Kong's full potential, and I think from what we've just discussed, Kong could most definitely beat Godzilla's ass, and with the right tools, kill him. I still think Godzilla wins more times than not, but people need to understand that Kong ain't no pushover. I think Kong is just lacking the experience to fight Godzilla, because they've already stated in the movie that Kong is one of the strongest titans in the monsterverse, which is awesome. And just looking outside of the movies and shit like that, we have to understand that Toho is not going to let Kong beat Godzilla. Toho is in, works with Legendary, and Legendary has to run a lot of things by them before they let something happen, and they're not going to let Kong beat Godzilla. That goes against everything that they're gonna, that they put into the contract for, Godzilla. That's probably just not what's gonna happen. At least that's, what makes the most sense to me. They're very strict on how people use Godzilla as a character. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that I'm just tripping? I know that I've made some people mad here today, and I would love to hear what you got to say. Comment down below. I love you guys. Also, I would love to take this time to shout out our new members. Thank you so much for joining the channel. None of this is possible without you guys. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, are we even friends, bro? Add me on Instagram.